Okay, we're back. This is Dave Vellante of wikibon.org, and this is siliconangle.tv's theCUBE, and we're live from VMworld 2012. This is our third year of doing the live TV program at VMworld, and we've got a great segment here. Some of you last year may remember we had Feargal O'Sullivan on, who is the director, or the head of global alliances at NYSE Technologies. Now this is a really interesting story. Essentially it's an IT shop that is now turned into a cloud service provider. So I like to call it turning IT cost into profit. Feargal, welcome to theCUBE.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
So yeah, you guys launched right around VMworld last year. I guess you announced in June, you started shipping in September. So it was right before you guys went public. So how's it going?
Very well, actually. I'm glad to say. As you said, we got our first clients up and running in production in September last year, and since then we've been really growing at great gusto. We have not only added many clients into our environment in New York, which was our initial implementation, but we've actually now taken the environment and deployed it in London as well. And we've taken mini environments and put them out in Tokyo and Toronto also. So we're really starting to deliver on the promise that we had, which is a sort of a standardized infrastructure as a service available globally for the capital markets trading.
Yeah, so you think about, Amazon, who started the whole cloud trend, they had all this infrastructure, they were using it, and they said, hey, we can actually sell it as a service. And you guys did a similar thing for capital markets, but of course, different objectives in terms of the technology and the SLA requirements and so forth. So talk about the offering a little bit.
Yeah, so well, if you think about it, the capital markets industry has many of the same requirements as other industries, but it does have some unique ones. Clearly, security for our industry is an extremely high priority, mainly around the compliance and the regulations, right? So there's a lot of oversight and a lot of need for our firms to sort of comply with different laws, not just in the US, but in all the other countries around the world. Now, they also have a range of services that they need, which complement their applications. So they need things like market data, they need things like order routing, they need risk management, and these are not necessarily available in generic public clouds, right? They're very industry specific. They often require being co-located next to the matching engines, where the markets actually run. And again, they need to be customized and unique based on different requirements in different countries. So what we've built really is the first industry-specific cloud environment for the capital markets. And it has the sort of the core infrastructure. It's got very secure data centers, global wide area network, and then cloud capabilities. And it's complemented by existing services that we had, like market data and order routing and other capabilities.
So we've seen this in other industries. We've talked on theCUBE about Cerner, which is essentially a healthcare cloud. USC actually has launched a cloud, but yours is really one of the first in financial services. So talk a little bit about what you learned from this experience. Were the surprises, give us the good, the bad, the ugly, and just share with us your learnings.
Do we have, 24 hours or so? Okay, no, we learned a lot. This is something that, NYSE Euronext is the operator of many of the world's equities and derivatives markets, particularly in the US and Europe, and really what we've been trying to do is sort of lower the barrier to entry to help firms to get the sort of shared infrastructure that can have them trading and reducing their costs and being more competitive. So when we approached this, it was a new business for us. We weren't, ever in this sort of position of being, an Amazon style, swipe a credit card and access a service. So we've had many lessons to sort of learn along the way. I think the primary ones would be around having the operational aspects of a cloud environment. And making sure that we had the right teams with the right culture and the right processes to both stand up and deploy the infrastructure rapidly on demand for clients, but also monitor and manage it. So that took a fair bit of sort of effort on our part to really get the correct structure in place. And then secondly, there was a lot of technical issues We do have a couple, as I mentioned, a couple of unique things. The security level that we apply to our cloud is truly sort of one step up. For example, we don't have the internet on our cloud. This is a very big issue for us is to ensure that we don't make it easy for somebody to hack into the US capital markets, right? We're sort of the representative of capitalism to a degree, and we need to make sure that we remain solid and work. So the security that we applied actually led us to believe, I was talking about this with some of the VMware people earlier today, multiple layers of networking because we use the network for both security and entitlements and access to control. We had to put in extra firewalling and intrusion detection capabilities. And all of these, they don't all necessarily just work when you connect them in perfectly. So it took us a fair amount of time to sort of figure out some bugs and also just certain cases where what we thought would work just didn't work and we needed to adapt.
And you're a VMware customer, right?
Yes, indeed, yeah.
And so how are you using VMware?
Yep, so we use the vCloud Director service, hopefully the vCloud suite actually. We're looking forward to really deploying the entire environment. But we basically have the vSphere and ESXi hypervisors deployed out in our cloud, and then we have a vCloud Director portal. It's all connected to EMC storage as well. And so the way we basically provision it is, clients sign up for an annual contract. We provision a certain amount of capacity. They need a certain amount of, in the case, VRAM, possibly soon changing to CPU again. And then storage. And so, once we provision that, we then make it available to clients, and they can use either a managed service, where we also give them the image of the operating system that's a highly secured NYSE compliant build, or they can bring their own operating system, and then they get to divvy up all those resources into different pools and share it among their applications.
So I want to come back and ask you about the back end a little bit later, but talk first about some customers, or anything you can mention, or any examples that you can give?
Yeah, so the use case has been quite interesting for us because normally people look about the cloud or virtualization, they start with dev test, then they might say, okay, that worked well, let's move to our disaster recovery, our contingency side, and then if that really works well, maybe we'll move right into production. We actually our clients came quite differently. We've actually started off with production, and it's only now that we're looking at a number of clients that are interested in the disaster recovery and the dev test. So one client that we got that we're really happy with and who are getting along very well in the cloud is a company called J Stryker. Now they're an options market maker on the trading floor of the New York Stock Exchange, and they leverage the cloud environment that we provide to make markets and options. So they actually care about certain things that we also didn't think would be necessarily attractive in the cloud. They take quotes and they price out their spread, and they make markets, and this requires low latency, and they've actually had very, very good performance out of our cloud. And are a great referenceable use case for us. So really it shows sort of end-to-end trading with low latency in the cloud.
So they're not asking for bare metal,
they're happy with the virtual.
Happy with the virtualized.
Yeah, and we do offer bare metal as well, and we do have a number of clients who sort of took that route. But this is one great example where there's production and it's on VMs.
So do you compete with sort of the traditional cloud service providers? Do you compete with Amazon? Do you compete with the big global service providers? Who do you compete with?
Well, that's a good question. It's clearly to the extent that somebody says, I want to take my workload and move it out of my own data center into a service provider environment, we do. You could look at our service as a similar sort of environment to Amazon, but I think our focus is very different. So we don't really see Amazon as competitive. It's even in many ways complementary. There are many use cases where you would like to be located in a highly secure data center where the New York Stock Exchange runs, next to our matching engines, accessing market data, which is at very high volumes. I mean, if you take the combined North American equities and options, you need about 8 gigabits per second of network bandwidth just to be able to take in all that content. So this is not something that you want to be shipping over the internet to an Amazon Amazon cloud. So we really target the firms that are really looking for that level of security, reliability, enterprise class. We're not built to fail. Not to say that any technology is flawless, but we have that one extra level of both security and reliability that we insist upon for our cloud. So that's our target audience, and we find that Amazon can be complementary, or other service providers too.
Okay, but so relative to Amazon, you've got an SLA that is, Amazon's SLA is essentially, hey, we'll do our best. If we fail, just email us.
Yes.
And if we fail, we'll apologize.
Right.
No offense, but that's what Amazon SLA is all about. So, most CIOs aren't going to trust their critical data assets to that type of SLA.
Yes.
So, what makes your cloud unique?
I think it's really the whole combination of where our cloud is running, right? You want to be next to the matching engine. It's the level of attention to detail that we've applied to enterprise class, and that's really why we picked EMC and VMware as our main partners, because not only did we use all of their technology internally, our clients did too, so they were comfortable with those, and just in the industry in general, they are the leaders in this space. So we took the best in class, we brought in their services to make sure that we designed it with the absolute maximum level of reliability. We're not the type of cloud that you want to fail over. If our cloud goes down, you don't actually want to fail over, because the whole reason you were in our cloud was to be next to our matching engine. So if we move you to a cloud in some other facility, you're not next to our matching engine anymore, right? So we had to really make sure that we built a very, very reliable cloud. And to date, again, knocking on wood, no issues. We've been very happy, our clients are very happy. And that's, I think, the unique aspect, is that you get that extra level of enterprise class.
So you're saying EMC was helpful or critical in that process. Talk a little bit more about that. What did they bring to the table?
Well, so obviously, first of all, the main thing, they brought the storage devices. We use the VNX series 5500s, and also in the smaller sites we use the VNXEs. And that really gives us the sort of the reliability and the security that we can count on for running all of these mission critical environments. But more importantly, we really feel like we've partnered with EMC in a big way, and I think it's mutual. They have, we've worked with their consultants and their engineering team to design and architect the system, but we also, and this is where it's interesting, is that we have a great go-to-market strategy with EMC. I'm sure you've spoken with them many times about their vision of the future, where service providers take on the space, and we certainly heard a lot about it from both Paul and Pat this morning. So they have really been instrumental in helping us get our strategy straight, and then go to market and help us promote it to our clients and their clients, and that's a great relationship.
And you work with their service organization as well?
We do. We have the EMC consulting arm. We've used them ourselves, but we also actually resell one of their services. They have something called the Cloud Advisory Service, where they go in and they analyze the workloads of all a client's applications and select which ones are suitable for deploying, physical, virtual, or NYSE cloud. And so we train them up on our environment, and now when we can go to clients, we can suggest, we can analyze and say, these workloads are very good for this cloud, and they have that system.
So that's an EMC consulting service that you guys resell?
Yes, we resell
under your brand?
On our contracts, on our paper, yep. So again, that's another sign of the close relationship that we have together.
Yeah, okay. Now how about the hybrid cloud? Is that something that you guys are looking at, or something you're considering?
Yeah, we actually recently, it took us about 6 months, but we recently opened up the vCloud API on the platform, which allows our clients now to come in and programmatically start and stop virtual machines on the fly. We're definitely very interested in the vCloud connector. It's a matter of really finding one of of our larger clients that wants to do that automation between their own cloud and our cloud. But it is an absolute, as far as we're concerned, it's a prerequisite. Clients have big infrastructure, they've spent a lot of time building out their existing clouds. They don't want to just have to recreate it all over again in a new environment. So the easier we can make it, right now we can give them, they can load their own ISOs and they can use the API and start and stop on the fly. At the point in time where we can link the two and allow them to view our cloud in their cloud console, we'll be very happy with that as well. So definitely on the roadmap.
So Feargal, my last question is, what's the vision? Where are you guys headed? What's next for you all?
Yeah, I mean, really what we're building here, Dave, is a new way for the capital markets business to be run, right? It's sort of, for the last 10, 15 years, everybody's been developing custom, in-house, their own proprietary technologies and solutions, buying the best things they can from vendors, but then hiring teams and teams of database administrators and systems administrators and developers and so on to program around that. Our goal is to say, you don't need to do that anymore, or at least not on the entire environment. We have the infrastructure available as a service. We have a range of our own services that are sort of platform, and my role as the head of the Alliances program is to bring in all the third-party application providers that are just, again, specific to financial services and make all of those available as well. So we really want to be the place where people just go when they want to deploy a trading application.
We love the innovation. You guys basically a startup within NYSE. You saw an opportunity. Somebody wrote a business case. I presume you were involved in that early on. Just really love the case study and the story of an IT operation essentially pointing to become an external service provider. So congratulations on getting that off the ground. It sounds like it's going great, and really appreciate you coming back on theCUBE, Feargal.
It's fantastic.
Good
Thanks
to see you again.
You too.
All right, keep watching. We'll be right back with our next guest right after this. SiliconANGLE.tv's theCUBE, live from VMworld 2012.
Years ago, the video news business believed the internet was a fad. The science is settled. We all know the internet is here to stay. Bubbles and busts come and go, but the industry deserves a news team that goes the distance.
Coming up on Social Angle are some interesting new metrics for measuring the worth of a customer on the web.
Every morning, we're on the air to bring you the most up-to-date information on the tech industry, with scrutiny on releases of the day and news of industry-wide trends. We're here daily with breaking analysis from the best minds in the business. Join me, Kristen Folletti, daily at the news desk on SiliconANGLE TV, your reference point for tech innovation.
theCUBE is this conceptual box, if you will, and we bring people inside of theCUBE and then we share ideas.
theCUBE is a comfortable place. It's a place where people feel happy and are happy to share their knowledge with the world. And we're happy to be ambassadors of that knowledge transfer.
theCUBE is this conceptual box, if you will, and we bring people inside of theCUBE and then we share ideas.
theCUBE is a comfortable place. It's a place where people feel happy and are happy to share their knowledge with the world. And we're happy to be ambassadors of that knowledge transfer.